All right. Guys, y'all let me know if this audio is working. This is experimental. I've got you on my headset. So good good morning to you guys. I'm trying to torn between wanting to kind of do a video and needing to work on stove cover. So trying to do both. Answer some questions, just hang out with you guys for a little while, if that's okay. But drop me a comment and let me know if the audio is working.
All
All
right,
right,
is the
is the
audio
audio
from the
from the
headset
headset
working?
working?
Because I've
Because
been
I've been
talking to
talking to
y'all for
y'all for
like
like
5
5
minutes.
minutes.
Let me
Let me
know if
know
the
if the
audio
audio
up
up
here
here
is
is
working.
working. Hello? Is it working?
All
All
right.
right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Good
morning,
morning
there,
there,
David
David
Allen.
Allen.
Echoing.
Echoing.
It's
It's
probably.
probably.
Well, if I got both
both
mics on,
mics
that
on.
should
Join
be
the
good.
millions worldwide who enjoy their favorite songs whenever they want. With Amazon Music Unlimited. It's
Hush.
free for 30 days and then $5.99 a month for this Echo. Cancel anytime. Terms in the Alexa app. Should I start your free trial and play You Should Probably Leave?
No. The heck is this? Oh my gosh! All these robots are talking to me now. Let's see. Let me see if I can figure out why it's echoing. Stand by. Can't handle that. All right. So headset is stream mix. Oh wait a minute. That's probably it. Right there. Hang on. All right. Let's see here. 0% monitor mix. I don't want to monitor mix it, so got it set to 0. All right. Is that working? Y'all work with me here. Okay. Apparently that's what it was. All right. I think I found it. I wanted to be able to use these. It may get a little loud from time to time because I do plan on trying to do some work while I'm talking to you guys. So I'm gonna walk over here and pull you guys up on the other TV so I can see it a little better because it's a bigger TV. That way we can work and talk and hang out and chat and all at the same time. If it works, y'all let me know. Hopefully the background noise. Let me see if I can add a filter to this headset. Add an effect. Let's see. Elgato noise removal. Okay, that should work. Hopefully. So, all right. Well, it says it's on. So hopefully that'll help cut down the noise too. Can y'all hear my chair? These saws are gonna be a lot louder, but and I don't have a mute button here. So, all right, let me get the other TV pulled up over here. Yeah, like I said, this was experimental. I've got other microphones, but I was hoping that I could, because this is what I usually wear when I'm working in the shop, and they keep me from like having to hear all these saws running. Let me see if I can get that machine over there. That way I can look up and check the comments periodically anyway. All right, it's magic. I'm fixing to control that machine over there over my shoulder. It's magical. Let's see here. So I can get on that machine over there now, and I can, let me do it this way. All right. But yeah. So what's everybody up to? Is anybody else doing any work, or is it just me today? Because I really wanted to just play on the internet and do a video for you guys, but I got stove covers backed up. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 8 stove covers I'm supposed to be doing. I don't like getting behind, so I'm going to hopefully get those done today and just maybe just kind of, like I said, hang out with you guys a little bit. We go from there. Redoing your shop like completely from the ground up, or we just doing some cleaning, some fall cleaning. I need to do some cleaning. Lord, I need to do some cleaning bad. It's terrible around here cleaning wise. If I can get this to connect, login code, man, I tell you what, security on this software's gotten stepped on up a little bit here. All right, StreamYard. It's a mess. I guess it's good that they so secure, but it's a mess trying to get logged in. All right, so let me see here if I can get it. So I'm trying to pull it up right over there. And it's wanting me to. It doesn't do. No. Enter without mic. Enter without mic. Yeah, there we go. Ooh. All right, so you gotta be careful about that. You gotta make sure. I don't know why it's doing that. I didn't even add it. All right, well, at least I got it where I can see it over there now. That was eventful. All right, so yeah, I can see y'all now. So I'm gonna go over there and get to work. I got some work to do. So let me go see if I can. Now I think I got it, Steve. I'm just trying to be in 2 places at one time, you know. And hey, but look, I don't got no brace no more. Like that's right. It's back to working. No more brace. All the problems I see over at your house, Steve. I definitely don't need no IT guy. All right. So yeah, can y'all still hear me on the microphone there? It's gonna be pretty cool. If I can make all this work. But yeah, I got several of these things I gotta do. But I got tomorrow also because it's a holiday. So tomorrow we'll try to do some laser stuff, but I want to do some laser stuff today. But got a business to run. Can't play all the time. But I'm guessing y'all can still hear me. Hopefully it's working. The showing is picking it up over there on the computer. All right, so these tools. So what's everybody else up to? I know I ain't the only one doing something today, other than shop cleanings, maybe. So when you don't have a big saw stop table saw, you have to do stuff like this. Like Steve's got that big saw stop, but he don't know this kind of struggle right here. replacement lens for the XTOD1 Pro will work for MK2. Steve would be the guy to answer that. I don't think I've tried one of his lenses in the MK2 yet. Good morning, Patty. How are you? Trying to engineer what I need a big table saw for, but I don't have one, so I have to do this the hard way. Which, when I first started this shack, all I had was a skill saw anyway. So I'm quite proficient with a skill saw. And it was basically the only tool I had for a long time until I got to where I started hitting the pawn shops up and finding me some cheaper stuff. But now I've got a table saw now, but it is nowhere near as big as I need. One of these days, I've got good enough room. I told my wife that's gonna be one of my, like, some folks want to buy a vehicle when they retire. I'm buying a table saw, like a big one. But I gotta get a building to put it in first. That's what I need. I am busting at the seams here. So I'm about to wait until I retire, get me a bigger building, and then give me a table saw. See here. Yeah. Somebody else. I see somebody else in my news feed said today was the 249th anniversary of the Marine Corps. So congratulations, all you guys out there. I was almost in the Marine Corps, but due to unforeseen situations, I wound up not going. So law enforcement instead. Let's see. Just put the extension on my D1 Pro. Had to build a new enclosure for it. Just now getting into lasers in the UK. It's a big rabbit hole. Their Facebook user, but you'll learn. There's a lots of things just hang in there. Maybe chocolate it with your router. Yeah, believe it or not, I have thought about showing. I have thought about putting them on there. By the time I set this up on the CNC, it's just, I might as well just do it this way because I've about got this perfected. I make about 4 of these a week, so I about got a system. Now it's going to be a little loud. I'm hoping that the noise filter that I put on here maybe is going to help you guys out. If it don't, I'll mute it next time I make a cut. But let's see if this works. Well, hang on. Glasses. Safety first. What's calling at me? Glasses. Why not? How bad was that? How bad was the noise? Was it bad enough to mute it, or did the noise filter handle it? If it didn't handle it, I can mute it. Just let me know. I don't want to hurt y'all's ears. All right, well, I'm going to wait until y'all tell me. I'm just going to mute the mic this time. That way. All right. Yeah, I used to use a straight edge, but I've actually got really good with this skill saw to the point where I can do it just about as straight without a straight edge and sometimes a lot less. So I've got one. Matter of fact, I've got a couple of them. Like I got this guy right here. Well, I can't get it out without moving some stuff. I got to move my camera. But yeah, I used to use those a lot. a straight edge. I may have to switch microphones as much as I hate it. This headset's not the best. Hang on, let me try something different. May not be able to use these guys. We set something else up. These I like my ISO tapes, but I've never used them as a microphone. So I don't think these are going to do as good a job of keeping the noise down for me. So let's see. Hang on, try to get the guys off.
All right, we'll see if I'll see if I can get these other ones to work. If they don't, I mean, heck, I may have to put my wireless ones, plug them up. I wonder if I can plug up my other little computer over there. No, that wouldn't work. But yeah, give me just a second to see. Yeah, I'm using my good mic now, so it should definitely work a lot better that way. Let me see if I got my headset, my JBL audios, and then hopefully I can connect them. Maybe they'll do a little better because I really don't want to have to stand over here to talk. Let's see here. Da, 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 da. Well, now these things ain't wanting to post up for some reason. Hold on. I think I turned them on. Da, 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 da. There we go. I turned them on while I had the other ones still on, and it was not letting me connect them. All right. So
how's that? Can y'all hear me now? These work better? These work better? Yeah, there's a lot of options. I've actually thought about making me a jig to go on top of my table saw, like a little table extension. I've thought of a bunch of different things, but I'm like, you know what? I'm making it work until I get a bigger table saw. We'll make it go. All right, so hopefully these will work a little better. Let me know if you can hear me better. They usually have a little better range than the other ones. The other ones do drop my music a lot when I'm moving around. So, all right, let's see what we got. All right. Y'all are guessing that means they're very good. All right, so these right here, I got this right here. Hang on, let me swap my camera over. You guys can't hardly see nothing over there. I got you a good camera. There you go. Hey. I don't know. Hey, I'll be back in a minute. So let me get this over here chopped. Woo! Yeah, these mics ain't worth the crap. Hang on. Let me check something. I don't know what it is with these things. Stand by. So I may not get to walk over yonder. I don't know why Bluetooth. Like these Bluetooths don't want to work very far at all. Don't know what the deal is. Let me unmute my other one.
All right.
So
we can try one more. We got one more option. They may or may not work very well. Killing me. All right, let's see if I'm connected to my phone or connected to my computer. Probably my phone. So give me just a second. Yep, I'm connected to my computer, from my phone, I mean. All right, let me check it now. See if I can get it to work. This is ridiculous. I'm going to have to buy me a better wireless headset, I guess. Tested 1, 2, 3.
All right, how's that? Can you hear me with these little guys? I mean, these are literally the smallest headsets I have in the shop. We'll see if it works. It looks like it's outputting the way it's supposed to. So we'll see from there. Another set of ISO tunes. We'll see if these work. Let me know. Keep me posted. Yeah. So I'm gonna walk over here and we'll see if they work. Since I got this one muted. All right. Let me know if it works. I need to know. These don't have like a little person talking to you telling you to connect to this connection. I don't want to have to dissect my camera and connect everything over here. I got a way of doing it, I think. But I really didn't want to have to. Yeah. Well, it's just terrible. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't know why.
They can't make equipment that has more range than like 10. I mean, seriously, this shop's only like 20 foot wide. So I've got my other mics that I could use. That's not gonna help me. Not gonna help me when it comes to trying to get some work done in here. Because I gotta be able to get over there. Plus, I need to be able to mute it to where y'all can hear me. So give me a second. Uh-huh. Give me a moment. Well, I can't tell which one's a microphone down there. It's rough and you can't really bend over. Test 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Test. How's that? Nowhere near loud enough. Yep. Hang on. I gotta cut this up. Testing 1, 2. Audio check. Audio. All right, so that is that. That ought to be getting there. I can't see that in the dark. All right. Well, hopefully that's going to work. I think I got it turned up as loud as it'll go. So we'll just drop that down through here. There we go. All right. So hopefully that will do the trick. I don't know what's going on. Let me check, make sure it works still with my other camera turned on. I'm guessing I'm still there. All right, so hopefully that'll do. About tired of messing with audio. I'm gonna wind up buying me a set of microphones, and I'm gonna plug them up and leave them on here. That way I can move around. That's what I'm gonna do. I'll be doing that after I get off of this and get through with this. I'll be making a visit to Amazon. So, all right. Well, hopefully that works. Now these, I'm pretty sure I can walk all over this shop and these aren't going to lose connection because these things right here, like I can set my camera up on one side of my yard and walk to the other and be good. So, oh, by the way, Steve, did you say the sign? Only 325 days remaining, sir. That's right. It's getting closer. All right, so yeah. So now I got to cut this other one cut up. Hopefully this audio is much better than what we had. I think what I'll do is I'll buy me a new set of audio mics to use for the camera, and then I'll just set these up, use these for the computer. I've been thinking about doing that anyway. Getting me another set for my camera. Might be a good excuse to do it. Might be a good excuse to go ahead and buy some better mics. So, That's probably what's fixing to happen, because this is a little aggravating, and then I got to set them for the computer, and then I got to set them back for my camera. And so that may be what I get for Christmas. Maybe a new set of mics. Be like much easier to deal with. So I won't be needing these anymore. So I'll put them up. I'm only doing 4. I usually do 4 of these like on Saturday or Sunday. I'll do 4 of them, which is pretty decent. Well, Steve, these work with the computer too. So probably what I'm going to do is I've been wanting to get me a DJI set of microphones. I may just go ahead and order those for my camera, and then I won't be needing that either. So I may order those and then just delegate these to be for the computer, or who knows? I could just order me a computer soundboard and plug it in there. But get these little clamps out. I have these little clamps right here. These are awesome. I use those a lot. I hope I've got the audio filter turned on these. Let me check, make sure I got it turned on still. I don't want to bust your eardrums. I know they're overpriced, but they work with my little pocket that I got. I've only got one mic with it, and it annoys me when I go somewhere that I've only got one mic. But if I get the DJI mics, they'll pair with it. Plus, you know, I got my little, where's it at? I got my little DJI. This is the one that y'all see a lot of times. It's in there on the honeycomb recording video and stuff. And I use it for other stuff too, but it doesn't have an external mic at all. So let me check, make sure I got some noise filtration turned on this microphone if I can, if it'll let me do it. Brad, it's the same old thing I always work on. Stove covers. I have to make, usually I wind up doing about 4 a week, which if you look at it, 4 stove covers a week, 4 weeks in a month, it's generally around $1,600 a month, which I usually make around $14,000 a year off of these stove covers. I have for the past couple of years. And so I don't quit doing them, because even if I didn't make money off of anything else, those would pay my basic survivable needs here in the shop. Now I might not be able to afford, editing software or stuff like that. But if everything else went away, then I wouldn't really need that. But I could literally keep my shop operational just off these stove covers and the odd and end jobs that I do from time to time. So I keep them around, even though they do annoy me sometimes, because it's like rinse and repeat. But I keep doing them. I just keep on doing them. So let me get y'all back over here. I've got this one marked at the 30.5. So I've got to cut it off. And then once I cut it off, I'll set it over here. Hopefully this won't, y'all let me know if the noise is too bad. I turned the noise filter on, but I don't know how well it's going to work. And of course, I keep these because these little scrap pieces are what my little honeycomb tiles are made out of. And I about got enough of them saved up. It's about time to make another batch. I keep those little scrap pieces And that's what I do with them. So put these up, done with them. While I'm putting these up, I'll go ahead and grab this guy. Whoop, that's my hole jig for stove covers. So I have to have that to put all the holes where they need to be. I do need to check my table saw though. I think I may have reset it to a different cut the other day. So before I run all of these, let me double check and make sure I haven't moved it. No, we're good. 22.5 on the other side is what I run for. Filter working great. Worked great. Okay, cool. Good deal. I use the Elgato filter for this. I've got the NVIDIA one on there too, but I figured Elgato would work best. It typically does. All right, this is going to get loud again, guys. Whew. All right, that was noisy. Oh, y'all can't hear the saw running? Okay, that's good. That is good that it's keeping the noise down like that then. So I won't be needing that. See, the problem with having a small work area is you have to keep your tools put up, because if you don't, you wind up knocking stuff off on the floor, tripping over stuff, or whatever. So, and then I have to get my, this is my my little stove cover building box. It's got all my bits and stuff in there that I need. Won't be needing that no more. All right, so let's see what y'all got going on. Cool. Gotta get me a Tums. I went and ate some sausage and eggs and biscuits this morning in there with Brandy, and it kind of got me. A little heartburn going on. But yeah, this leg, somebody was talking about earlier about me getting around better. That darn brace that they had me in, I think it was causing me more problems than the knee surgery was. It's got my back like right in there on the sacroiliac joint or whatever, SI joint. That thing's inflamed, and I'm hoping I can get it worked out here pretty soon. So it's not been able to do nothing. Starting to get a little chunky. I gotta get my old butt back in the weight room, start working out a little bit, because my belts, I've been wearing the same belt for about 10 or 15 years, and the past couple of months my belt's getting where it ain't fitting right. So I gotta fix all that. I can't be having that. But for the past 20 years or so, well, about the past 25 years, I've ran and rode bicycles and exercised and stuff like that to try to stay in shape. with all this, you know, hurt leg and hurt back and everything. Going and running just ain't on the menu these days. So I had gotten back in the weight room and was doing a pretty good job of getting my weight down and, you know, getting back like I wanted to be. But then this whole knee thing happened, and that's messed me up. So, but yeah, I got to run a sander now. So if y'all got comments, y'all better throw them out. It's going to be a minute. But yeah. All right, well, let's get sanded. Oh, by the way, while we're working, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you my workflow on these. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these panels and get these prepped and put it on the X40 and get these to engraving. So that's what I'm gonna do first. Is I'm gonna move all this crap out of my way, and I'm gonna sand right here. And guys, if you're just getting started, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. This isn't a promotion for DeWalt, but this is something I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys. This little DeWalt HEPA filter thing that goes with their sanders is worth every single penny. Now, I can't, you know, this ain't a Festool shop. We can't really run Festool stuff over here, but this thing is awesome. It has made a big difference in the amount of dust I have to clean up around here. I think the skill saw is probably my dustiest tool I've got now that I've got this. So, but yeah, make sure y'all ain't commenting. Yeah, not being able to get out and do stuff is bad. But now that I'm getting my mobility back to where I can walk and I'm not just sitting in a chair all the time, I'm hoping some of this goes away, because I've been noticing, guys, that's not a fan of that. I got to get rid of it. It's just, I just can't. I mean, I've wore a size, 36 pants for the past 15 years or so. I can't be going up no 38s or 40s. I just hurt my pride. But let me get these sanded right here. While hang on. Harbor Freight just came out with a new HEPA dust collector as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna tell you, this one is cool. That's weird. You got to, and y'all may be able to hear it. I don't know, but it's got, like, ever so often you'll hear it like bam, bam, like something inside it's hitting the filter, and that's exactly what it does. Is it shuts the suction off for a second, knocks that filter a couple of times to get the fine dust to fall off of it, and then it revs back up. So it's pretty neat. It'll clean this table as I'm sanding. So. All right, and a lot of people ask me, why don't you just laser engrave the back of them? I just like my stamp. It works really well. So I stamped the back of them. I like that old school look. Now, my stamp does need to be rebuilt. I about wore that one out, but yeah, there we go. So now, show y'all what goes on over here. All right, so that is why I love that machine right there. It just fits in there nice and snug. I've got little jigs built into the enclosure so that the stove cover literally just sits down in that hole, and it's awesome. So show y'all what I'm going now. So home the machine. Now I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to update the overlay. Let me move that thing to its park location so I can get it out of my camera view. All right, so update the overlay. There's my stove cover, as you can see. So now all I've got to do is, matter of fact, I should have one in recent. There we go, name. So I'm going to open up one of my stove cover files, and ooh, this is going to be a, and so all I got to do now is change the name, which is going to be BARR. This is, they not from here. UETA. There we go. So that's the name we're going to be putting on this one. So I use this little obscure looking little tool line right here to frame my text, because this shape that's around here is not exactly symmetrical. So I click on that, and then I click on this little tool line right here and center the text if I need to. But most of the time it's good to go. So we'll update the overlay, and there you go. Just going to frame it out. And the reason I frame it out is sometimes, not always, but sometimes these stove covers, especially these panels, sometimes they'll have a little bit of a bow in them until I put the side panels on them, because they are like a bonded board, 3/4 inch thick. So every now and then they'll be a little proud right in the middle until you put the side strengthening boards on them. So I like to frame just to make sure I'm not going to have a nozzle strike anywhere on the material. Once it frames okay and I don't got anything hitting, I kind of watch it, make sure it's clear. Then we're ready to go. And all I got to do is hit start, and it's going to run this engrave. As you can see, the first layer is simply like a sketch. Like it just sketches out the design around the outside edges of the material. One thing that I've learned and doing these things, especially with pine is really bad to bleed. Like if you put stain in there, especially if it puddles in the engrave, it'll bleed towards the grain of the wood, and it'll actually make it like really, really dark around the edges of the engrave. But by putting this line's actually ran at a pretty high power, so it's cutting in there pretty good. What that does is that actually cuts that fiber, kind of like if you had a wick on a candle. That wick's going to absorb that fluid and pull it up as it goes. Well, doing this kind of cuts the wood to kind of prevent a little bit of that wicking. Now you're still going to have a little, like oak's still going to bleed a little bit around the edge of the engrave, but that does help with that. Plus it just makes it, to me, it makes that reef just look a little better in the long run. So this is going to take a while. I'm running this at you can see my cuts and layers. This is the X tool, or not X tool. This is the Atom Stack X40. That line I'm running at 80 millimeters a second at 100%. And then the rest of the feels, the feels for the little crest, both of those are being run at 150. I do have this split into two different parts. And the reason I did was to eliminate this white space on both sides of this design. Used to, these things would take like 3 hours to do because of all the white space. And yes, I know you can use offset fill and all these other different settings, but I didn't like the way I got the look that I got from that. So I split this design into two parts, and it engraves one side in one layer and one side in the other, and both of them are run to where it literally, as you can see, let's see, where's it at? It's 18 minutes in, and literally within 45 minutes, this will be done. Like, this entire thing should be done in about 45 minutes or so. So it's 11:08 now. We'll see. But the time that it takes to do these is a lot slower. Now, the text, the name in the middle, I do have it set to run 120 at 100% power. It's because I want it a little more bold, a little deeper. And so that's what I got that set up for. But yeah, there we go. And it's working on the engrave now. And as you can see, it's done made it about a quarter of the way up on that right side. And it's just kind of slinging back and forth, back and forth. No white space whatsoever in this file, except for the text. Now, the text does have white space, but by the time this one gets done, like, sometimes I'm in here racing the machine. I'm trying to get another one ready in the time that the machine's engraving them. So, because once this one gets engraved, then I've got to put it together as well. So, yeah, it's me and the machines race a lot during the day. So there you go. Somebody's asking, what are the dimensions? The ones that I'm running, because of the business, and most everybody that I've had order one has used them, is 30.5 wide by 20.5 deep. Making sure I'm telling you that right. Yes, 30.5 by 22.5. My bad. I've got my I don't know why it is, but I can't remember stuff like that except when I'm doing it. Like, when I'm doing it, it's like right there. But if I sit here and try to think back, it's like, I don't know. But I've done hundreds of these things. But they're 30.5 wide. I do know that one pretty well because I have to mark it. But the 22.5, I've got my chop saw. I don't know if y'all saw it or not, but I've got that little guard that you see sticking out the right side of my chop saw is set to where it marks because that's about all I use that chop saw for anymore. So that little guard that you see that I CNC'd, that thing's basically, when I slide a 1x4 up in there, it stops it at the exact measurements. And then, of course, the fence on my table saw, unless I use it for something else, it stays set to that 22.5 as well, because that is what I've got to as far as my actual woodworking stuff. I do mostly those. Occasionally I'll build something else, but it's those saws basically just make stove covers these days. But they've paid for themselves time and time again. All right. Well, nobody else is commenting, so or either my computer's froze. So I sell to this company because they order, like I said, about 4 a week from me. With this company, I sell them to them for $100 a piece. The general public, for like this, if I was selling this one with this design to the general public, you're looking at $125. If they want fancier handles or, a different color stain or whatever, that's gonna go into the pricing. But for the most part, $125. If I have to do, like, if they don't like this design that I'm using here, or one of the ones that I already have designed, then there's also that, hey, I got to make this design. So I've got a few designs that I've built, and I'll show you what they look like. So I've got, like, this is another one that I made. I made this one for I don't remember. I'm guessing it was the Tuckers, but I'm guessing it was a Facebook order because I don't recognize that name. But I made this design because somebody had sent me, hey, I want something that looks like this. And then I have, of course, that's just an element of that one that I put aside. And then I have this one here that I made for an order. They wanted it to have like a house, and it say a house divided in Alabama and Auburn. You could also do that with, like, Georgia, LSU, blah, 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 whatever. Just insert favorite team here. But I've got some others that I've done as well. But a lot of those are in, because I keep folders for people that I do jobs for. So, like, if you go to customer files here, one of the people that I know ordered a stove cover would be this guy. So I've got, well, Let me open up a new window. So like I made this one for this guy. So a lot of the designs that I do, I make uniquely, but like I said, to do all of this, there is an additional little charge. So, but you know, typically, like I said, something like this, if it's somebody local and you know, I ain't got to jump through a whole lot of hoops, they don't want the special dimensions and all that. 125 to 135 to 150, basically, depending on handles and finish and design and all that. So, but I don't do as many for folks not this business anymore, just because I ain't got time. I used to have a lot more time than what I have now. I don't have all that time now. All right, well, let me get over here and get started getting another one ready, because if I don't, Fred, I've actually got a video I think I did on that, but it is simple. Like I said, you buy these panels, right? Chop it into two 30.5-inch pieces. You're going to have a little piece about that wide left over, because these are, I think these are 72-inch panels. So you're going to have a little bit left over. And then just run it the other way, rip it down the middle or down the side on the other side, 22.5. They come in 24, so you're going to have a little 2x strip. I got a pile of those things over there. You rip it down to 20.5, sand it, drop it in the laser. And then once it comes out of the laser, we got to put little sidebars on it, because if you don't, this 3/4 material, especially with it being made, if you don't, the weather's going to make it flex. But these, not only do they decorate and make it look cool, but they also add some rigidity to it to prevent that dome from forming in the middle of it. Pull everything back flat. So those are not just for looks; those are actually functional stiffeners for the stove covers. Let me get another one done, because it's this one over here is getting to where it's finishing up on that top part, and we've only been 7 minutes so far. So it's finishing up on that right side. It'll start on the left side here in just a second. And then the very last part that it's going to do is going to be the text in the middle. But yeah, the way I've got my machine set up, you can't really see it. But when I set that in there, it fell down in a hole that is exactly the size of that panel that's been cut. And if I mess up and make my panels too small or too big, it'll tell me when I go to put it in there, because it won't lock in like it's supposed to. Because there's supposed to be just enough room to let it wiggle a little bit once I set it in that hole and it falls down in there. And that makes sure that it's centered for like all the engraving and stuff. This is the one complaint right here that I have with this Stack X40. And if I played in the controller enough, I could probably fix it, but it's not that critical of a deal. That's the like burn moving speed, like from one burn to the other. That's how fast it moves. It'll kill me. Like it is capable of much faster, but on the controller they've got it set to where that's the speed. That used to be how fast at home, but I fixed that part. But yeah, but it'll do that side and then the text next. So we better get another one ready. I also, when I'm getting ready to engrave these boards and panels, a lot of times there's these little imperfections in the back in one side or the other. So I try to look at them and decide which face is the best for this, because even though these things are meant to be rustic, I don't want a big knot like right in the middle of my engrave, because that causes problems. So how do I find out what my machine speed is? NEPA, if it's too slow, you'll notice it. You can go into the controller and change the settings, but if you're not comfortable doing that, I don't recommend getting in there and messing with it. I've got a couple of videos that shows you how to go in and change some of those speeds, but be sure before you go into the controller messing with anything, be sure to export a copy of the settings as it is when you go in there, because if something does go wrong, you can always set it back to default, because if not, you'll have to find somebody who has the exact same machine that's stock and get them to send you a copy of all of those settings. And I know this because I've had that happen. So there we go. We got 3. Got 3 of them up. Got 2 on standby, and I've got 1 in the machine. What these panels? Hang on. Good. Hey, that's a good excuse. That's a good excuse, Fred, to take a break for a second. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't want to work too hard today. Let's see here. Now I don't have an affiliate account with these guys. I mean, I'm just going to show you where they're at. But they're called hobby panels in most places, and I used to make my own. Like I would take I would take mill the lumber, flatten it, put biscuits in it, glue it up, clamp it, wait 2 days. I mean, I used to go all out when I first started making these things, and I still can, but not for $100 because I was making those things way too cheap back in the day. But then when orders started coming in so heavy, I had to quit. So I had to start. Here we go. Here we go. There we are, right there. Hang on, I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so these are. Let me grab one of these that I've opened over here. So I'll show you. This is the little paper that was in there. Reliability 3/4 by 24 by 6 foot. So that's this right here. 3/4 by 24 by 6 foot. It's $40. So material cost per stove cover for the wood is going to be the $20 or so for this panel, and then half of a 1x4. Same thing. It's the spruce 1x4s or whatever. Where they at? See if they got them. I thought they might have been plugging them down here, but yeah. So I buy one of those, and one 8-foot 1x4 makes 2 stove covers. So that's my materials right there. There you go. And I can copy that, and I'll drop that here for you guys if you're interested. But yeah, it's like I said, these are not. It's not rocket science. It's nothing too special. This is what they wanted. They showed me pictures of what they wanted. I found like I said, and in the beginning, I was doing them with pine that I cut, which between milling the lumber, gluing everything up, make it, first of all, because when you cut a tree, it just doesn't automatically become lumber you can build something with. There's a lot goes into that. So in the early days, my stove covers, that's what I was doing. And then this company reached out to me and was like, hey, we want those, but we're going to be ordering a couple of hundred a year. And I'm like, well, so I'm like, well, hang on, I've got to rethink my process. So that's when I went and started going with pre-made materials, because my process that I had there, it just wasn't possible, and it was not very profitable for what they want to pay. Yes, my work area has come a long way in 2 years. It has been an evolution for a while. Same panel in Indiana is $43.95. Wow. I guess it's the regional cost. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe the shipping cost has a little bit further to go, because I'm pretty sure that's not made in the United States. I don't know exactly. Probably Sweden, if I was guessing. But maybe it's because you're further inland. I don't know. No, Fred, the tree don't just magically fall in the boards. There's a lot goes into that. You got to cut it, then you got to dry it, and then once it dries, some of the boards are going to twist, some of them are going to split. I mean, if you can stack them, sticker them, ratchet strap them down, weight them, do what you want to. You can bring them down to moisture content as fast or slow as you want to. You're still not going to get 100% useful boards out of it. And then once you get that done, then you got to bring them into the shop. You got to run through the planer. You got to get them flat by using a planer and whatever witchery you have to use to get some of them things flat, because some of them are a little challenging. And then once you do that, You got to make sure they're all the same thickness, because if you don't and you start putting them together trying to make a panel, then I don't have a planer or a sander that's 20.5 inches wide. So you're having to try to sand these things flat with a sander, and it's a rabbit hole. So I was not going to go down that with a customer who's going to be ordering so many from me. Now, if somebody comes to me and says, hey, my dad planted this tree when I was 2 years old, and I've got a picture of me standing beside this tree, and I want this piece of log right here that I salvaged from this tree, and I want to make it into a stove cover, and I want to put my dad's name on there or whatever. If they come to me with that, I can do that, and I got all the machines to do it with, but it is not going to be $125. Just know that. If you want a collectible piece of art, you're going to pay for a collectible piece of art. If you just want a functional stove cover, you get a functional stove cover. So it's the same price in Arizona and same price in Illinois. So yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's geographical, or maybe it's just your taxes up there. Who knows? Look at that, guys. It's on the text, like a typewriter. And see, we're at 11:29. So we started this at 11:08, and so there we go. It's almost there. Fred, to be honest with you, laser's easier. That's the way I started doing them, because when I first started doing these things, I didn't have a CNC. I had a laser. I actually had an X-Tool D1 Pro that I used, and I come up with my jig kit that I made, and I had it to where I would take that jig kit and I cut me a little frame that would sit on top of the stove cover and would hold the legs and hold the machine in the center of the stove cover panel. And that's what I did. I had to set them on here, take that little jig. Well, actually, I set them over here. I had a counter over here. I would set them over here, take that little jig, set it on top of the stove cover, clamp everything together, and then take the D1 Pro, sit it on top of it, make sure the legs went in the little holes, and then I would run it. And I had a little canvas enclosure that was like canvas or cloth, and I would sit it over the top of the laser, not for smoke, because at that time I didn't have the front of the shop was just open, but I just set it over the top of the laser just to make sure that myself or the cats didn't go blind, and that was it. No, that's that's just their price here, guys. Hey, we're in Alabama. Down here in Alabama, we don't got the money y'all got up there up north and some of these other places. We po folks down here. Matter of fact, let's see here. Which store is it showing me? Yeah, that's my Lowe's. I was in Prattville last night. Matter of fact, we went and ate supper and went to Hobby Lobby, and I got to look around at some stuff, which I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think Hobby Lobby is watching the Clack Shack channel, because I found 2 of my designs, laser cut designs that look just like them, in the Christmas section last night. And I swear it's my files. So I think Hobby Lobby has purchased my files and are using them now. But here we go. So take that one out. And there you go, guys. That is the process for doing them. And I've got one more. I got to sand. This one is going to get sanded again. I just kind of try to make sure I sand them somewhat smooth before I engrave them. But that's the engraving before it gets sanded. And yes, it's got a little bit of browning on it, but that'll come straight off with the sanding because, like I said, I will go over this again with the sander. The initial sanding is more or less just to make sure I got a nice flat surface and don't have anything loose or anything on here. So I'm gonna go over this one more time. But I'll do that after I put the holes in it for the sidebars and all that kind of stuff. But that's the look, and that's another reason somebody was asking me a while ago, why not the CNC? Why use the laser? It's because with the laser and the way that I've set mine up, and I've played with my settings, I've figured out how much air assist to run and all that. This is the color that I get on pine. And I know a lot of people are spruce or whatever these things are made out of. A lot of people cuss this kind of wood because you can't get color, but I have basically cracked the code on this material to get dark engraves. And so I like the way this looks. If I did this on the CNC, I would have to mask it and backfill it or paint it or whatever. But with the laser, there's enough in there. You can actually feel this and tell it's engraved, but yet I've got that nice brown mahogany looking color also. So that's the way I like it. No, these will not fit in the S1. They will not fit inside of S1. And that's why a lot of people are like, well, if you could only have one machine, which one would it be? Well, it's going to be this one because I make a lot of money with it and I can do smaller stuff. But this machine, the panel, you can see how it's sitting in there. If you'll notice on the front, it's hard to tell, but that front part of that stove cover is actually outside of the frame of the machine, the way it sits in there. So it's actually bigger than that machine. That's why when you notice I put them in there, I have to kind of push the top in and push it underneath the frame and then bring the bottom down. And you kind of got to finagle them in there. So it takes that machine there to be able to like sit them in the middle of it. My Acer V35, I used to use it to do these. It works well also, but it takes a big machine to be able to do it this way. You can sit the machine on top of it, and like with the S1, you could take the bottom out of the S1 and set it in there. But now you'd have to use you'd have to do some work to line everything up right. But you could do it with the S1, but it's not going to be this simple because this machine, like I said, this machine has been tweaked and tweaked and tweaked to make this really simple. So, but let me go set this one down, get the other one prepped because Adam Stack will be through with this one in just a minute. So let me swap y'all over to the wide view, and then we'll go over there. $39 in California for the panel. See, it's got to be geographical for you guys, like in the middle of the country or whatever. I don't know. Do you think the new X2 is sufficient enough for inside an apartment? Josh, now, my use of this thing, this is my waiver. My use of this thing has been limited to a couple of weeks. I was doing some Christmas ornaments and Christmas balls on it the other day, and it done a great job. So far, yes, it has been great. I don't know how long that's going to last. You have to consider the fact that those filters are going to stop up. And when they stop up, they're going to have to be replaced. Depending on what kind of material you're doing, how much you run the machine is going to depend on how long those things last. Now, the one thing that I will say about it is if you live in an apartment, you could probably stretch out the lifespan of those filters a little more because you could even take, and if you wanted to, and when the weather permits, it has an outlet that you could put a hose on and you could still vent it outside. So if let's say the filters are operating okay, but there's still that smell, you technically could filter and then discharge the filtered air outside and it not really be noticeable outside. So I can't say for sure without using it for a long period of time, but what I will tell you is so far it works better than any of the other filters I've tested. So there's that. That's all I got to offer. But so far, yeah, it's worked like a beast so far. Doing a good job. But that's, like I said, I haven't really, I haven't hooked it up to this enclosure here and ran it yet. I did run the stew out of it on the S1, and I've been using it a good bit on the Ultra over there. That's why it's sitting on top of that counter. But yeah, let me get this other panel done before we get the mess. I can't stand it when the machines outrun me. So I got this one ready to go together. I got one more on standby. I got one in the machine. So I got to get this one ready to go in the machine. So let me get it sanded for a second there, guys. S1 conveyor. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly how wide that conveyor is. You would have to have, and you may know this. I think it is. I'm gonna have to go with maybe. I don't have the S1 conveyor, so I can't say for sure. But you're gonna have 20.5 inches wide of clearance, and it's gonna need to be able to go 3/4 of an inch thick. Maybe. Like I said, I without having it, I can't say for sure. I do have the little bed slinger for the Atom Stack Hurricane that they sent me one, and apparently it was a production bed slinger, but mine's a prototype machine, and there was some differences. So, but I've got a new one in the house that I haven't brought out here yet because I have to move the machine from over here on the counter. See, like right over here. Well, you can't see it, but I have to move that machine from over on the counter to the right of me here, and do it over there. Well, let me know if it will work with the conveyor, because that would actually be, because I'm really pessimistic when it comes to some of these conveyors and bed slingers and stuff. Atom Stack, I think I like their design better than I do a lot of them, but the ones that have the rollers concern me. But if ever there was anything that would work in those roller setups, I think a 3/4 inch piece of material that you're not cutting would be the best use possible for it. So yeah, that I mean, it may work. X-Tool tried to send me a conveyor for mine, but I was like, where am I going to put it? Have y'all seen my shop lately? Let's see what we got. I put the stamp up, and I need to go ahead and start sanding out a few of the boards, and I'll show you guys how to. Let me see if my overhead camera working at all. Let's see if it works. No, it's not. Oh, it's probably because it's not plugged up. See if it's working now. Ah, there we go. Amazing what happens when you turn things on. Let me fix it. It's twisted. It's twisted. We'll need that in a minute. We'll need that here in just a few minutes. Make sure I've got that camera set to cut off when I'm not using it. Does that seem like it was making it jerk a little bit? Yep, it is. All right, so let me get to sanding some of these sideboards, because this one over here is about halfway through on the left side. So it ain't gonna be long for that one to be through. So let's get busy. So now what I've got to do is I've got to get all of these guys here sanded, which can be a pain because this wood chips really bad. The only thing about spruce is it chips out bad. Woo! Yeah, Mike, the dust collection on that thing, that that new setup is awesome. Hang on, I'll show you what it is. The noise canceling works pretty well too, but yeah, this is and guys, it's a little dusty on top of it from the skill saw, but that's what I'm running. But this thing is awesome. Like I can literally use it as a vacuum. But yeah, there's I'm gonna show you a little better, closer view of it. Let's see. There it is right there. This is the I got it off of Amazon, and I can share a link if you're interested. But yeah, it is really nice. The only problem that I've got, and I've got a cable ordered for it, is my sander was not intended to be used with this. So the sander cord was way too short. But I've got a black, I think it's a 14 amp extension cord, 13 amp extension cord coming from Amazon that I'm going to go ahead and kind of like how I've got this set up to where I've got the cord run down the hose. I'm going to do the remainder of it that way, because right now it's kind of like, you know, partially, but it's enough for what I need it for. But if I'm doing like a table or something like that in here, I'm going to need more hose or more cable. So I've got that cable coming, and I'll be attaching that to it to give myself a little more reach as soon as it comes in. But I don't know when it'll be here. I just ordered it from Amazon a week or so ago. But yeah, that thing, I love using it. It makes the dust so much better in here. Like used to, after I made stove covers, it looked like it snowed in here. But yeah, well, Brian, the vacuum that I've got over at the CNC is much much more powerful. Using it as a vacuum, as far as, you know, while it's hooked to that, because that's the one I use. It's over there. You can see the hose right there. That's the one I use on my CNC when I'm cleaning stuff up before I remove it, because the dust collection on my CNC works really well. But you still, especially if you're using a down cut bit, you know how it is. It packs the material down in there sometimes. in some of those cuts and stuff, and you can't get it out. You know, with typical dust collection, it won't come out, but use that, it will. No, that's my new. I put up a new camera. I was hoping you guys would like it. It's up there. Like it's way up there. I actually had to get a step stool to put it up there. I need to adjust it a little bit, I think, but I like having my little flashing blackjack sign in there, so I think I'm gonna leave that alone. But yeah, but I've got a bunch of those Logitech cameras. Like this is one that I use over here on this table, but this is what's up there. Is this? It's a newer version of this one. This is an old HD Pro Stream or whatever, but the other one is it's a little newer version. But it's the same exact camera. 5 feet above the ground. I hear you. Hey, just because we're not all Sasquatch imitators, you know, that don't mean we ain't over 5 foot tall. I'm thoroughly over 5 foot tall. I'm like 6 foot and some change. Like it depends on where I go and who you ask. 6 foot to like the lady the other day is like, how tall are you? About 6'2". And I'm like, well, sure, we'll go with that. Which I don't think I'm quite 6'2", but I don't know. I'm a fuzz over 6 foot. Oh. All right, so that one's coming on along, guys. The next two that we're gonna do are gonna both be home sweet home designs. So Dave, how do I get the file that hold the camera? Which one are you talking about? Like for enclosure cameras, like this one? Like the one I got on this, or like the one I got over here? Talking about the ones that I use to hold those cameras? I've got it in my Etsy shop, the most recent one. I don't have one out here. Klein stole the last one I had. But the newest one I built, I've got the one that I made for the We Create would work also, but I've got a box that you can use to make it kind of like where you can adjust it a little bit better. But if you were just wanting to put it in the top of a built-in closure, you could use the one that I made for the We Create. Here's the one that I'm using. Hang on, let me go to my Etsy shop. I'll show you the one that if you go to my Etsy shop and we'll just do it this way. All right, so if you go into my Etsy shop right here, you can search all of my items. So if you type right here and you put in camera, it's going to bring you up everything that I've used with cameras. Now, this is an older wooden box that I did, wood box design. This is that new 3mm acrylic design that I've come up with. That's just old as crap. I need to take that down. I didn't even know that was still there. That was one of my original it was just a template to add a different camera to, but I need to get rid of that. Don't get that one. But this is the 3D printable one that I have. And that's the one that it makes this little box right here. You can even cut you a little piece of acrylic and put over it if you want to filter the blue light out. But that's what, and you can put it to the ceiling like this. See, this was the way that I used to mount them was these little guys here. But then once I got into 3D printing, I started using this, and that just works a lot better. That's what's in both my enclosures for these cameras. That, like when y'all looking at the Zillow camera right there, that's actually one of those brackets, as well as the SaberCam. It's in there also. So, but that's the file right there, and I can share it with you. I need to take, matter of fact, let me take that one down. What's it called? Raspberry Pi. Let me get rid of that one. I don't think that one's needed anymore. All right, so I will get you a link for the 3D printed one. It's probably the most versatile one of the files that I have. The base under the Logitech camera. Mounted 5. Oh, I thought you were talking about this one. Well, anyway, there's that one for those of you that might have wanted to look at it. No, this camera here, this is actually, believe it or not, this little base thing came with my microphone. Like, it was the microphone shipped with this little base, but it has the same screw as cameras use. So I was like, I had this sitting around, and I was like, well, that's handy, because with this camera, I can literally, like, change the trajectory of it. Well, I used to could. I glued this one, I think, because I broke it, so I glued it. But you can usually change you can bend this part too. I've got another one around here somewhere. I need to swap them out. I think that's the one that's up there. But so I started using this for that. But I've got so many different holders for cameras. It ain't even funny. Because, like, if I see one, I'll be like, oh, I could use that. I don't have the D1 enclosure. Uh-oh. Yeah. Hang on, guys. So now all I've got to do is open up my home sweet home file, and there we are. So frame that one out, make sure the board's not bowed or anything, which it shouldn't be. All right, here we go. And like I said earlier, the settings are exactly the same for the most part on this file. It's no big game changer. It's the same design. I just got it saved 2 different ways, so that I don't have to because I know that this is in the center of that workpiece and everything. So it just makes life a lot easier when you're sending these things and just over and over doing them. Let's see. I missed what Fred was asking. Oh, yeah, it will work with the F1. I don't know that the automatic the X-Tool filter will work with any machine out there, because it's basically just taking the discharged air, filtering it, and blowing it out. The only difference is with X-Tool Ultra, the new P2S, I don't think it works with the P2, and the S1, with a firmware update that you have to have, it will automatically power up and power off. Like, it'll spin up while it's cutting, and then once the cut's done, you can set the timer for 10 seconds and it'll cut off. It does all that automatically. I can use it with, say, the Hurricane or any of these other machines, but I will not, like I've always said, X-Tool punishes you when you get outside their little area of operation. So when you use it with other machines, there is an adapter to make it cut on and off like it does with the X-Tool machines. So you have to, there's a little dongle that comes with the filter that has to be plugged into your machine, whether it's the X-Tool, the S1, or the Ultra, or the P2S. There's a little, it looks like kind of like a little miniature thumb drive, but it's a little Bluetooth adapter that plugs into one of the peripheral ports on your machine, and then you have to connect it to XCS and put it all together, and then it automatically operates everything. So very nice reuse of a base. I have it over camera. Yeah, y'all see the one that's over there, my actual overhead camera right there. I don't know how many of y'all know it or not, but that's an atom stack camera. That's one of their enclosure cameras, but I didn't like it because it just wiggled, and I don't need that because I have enclosures. So I started using it to make a couple of videos, and I liked the perspective, and so it's just been sitting there. Like that thing's been mounted up there for. I've got it clamped to the board up there, but it's been there for probably going on 2 years now. It's an atom stack camera that I used it for a little while with their machines just to test it, and it works. It's, as you can tell, it's a pretty decent little camera. As long as you have a square work area. I couldn't get it to work with any of the bigger work areas. But yeah, you can see it's a decent camera. It's just I liked it better for that function that I did a light burn camera. Well, let me get some of this stuff going. Y'all making me get behind. Brian, I'm happy because I got this thing off my leg. I walk now because I'm telling you that leg brace was hurting me worse than the knee surgery did. Uh-oh, we got company. Hello. How are you? Uh-oh. Let's see what's going on here, guys. No, you come on. I'm good. You can bring them over here. What you got? Just talking to the world. So what do we got? Hey, guys, y'all ask a lot of times, where do you get your inspiration for projects? It's right here. So she comes in here with all this stuff. What we got? What we doing?
Inspiration. Just paint them gold like you did yesterday.
Painting some more stuff gold.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, these are actually heavy. What are they? Metal?
I don't know. I got them at the thrift store, and I liked the purple at first.
No, they're plastic, but they're filled with sand, I'm guessing. Because,
Well, I liked the purple at first, but now for fall I really did. But now I'm going to say.
So we got to make these gold. Brian said, "Is that the boss?" He says, "Hi, Brady." Now we're making things and just talking. So.
Yeah. You got them doing your stove covers.
Well, they're helping do stove cover. Actually, they're distracting me, and I know how you don't like people distracting me. So, but anyway,
I don't know if that was going to. I've tried.
This is going to be a little tough. I'll have to.
Yeah, and it's not real smooth.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit that from several angles. These won't be too bad.
That part.
Yeah, we'll put them outside. Do I got to do it right now? Can I wait? Okay. Oh, is it fixing to rain? Oh, you can't paint in the rain. You know how that happens, so they got to do it outside. I'll set them over here, and I'll remind myself in a little bit to get those done. Or you can remind me if I forget. Well, I wanted to do a video. Well, and it gives me somebody to hang out with since you didn't want to come in here, Yeah. See, I've done brought new camera angles to the thing. So I got it over there too. I done brought new camera angles into the live and everything. On the screen, see it? So we got 2 burned. I got 1 in the process of burning, and then I got 1 to go. So now I have to start setting these up for the sidebars. And so the way I do that is set those there. And y'all know I got to have a jig for this, right? So I got this little jig. I'll show it to you. So the back side of it hooks over the stove cover. And then I mark the holes through there. So I can even we'll do it this way. So the way it works, take this. Yeah, this Brandy does this part sometimes. And you just stick this on top of here and go down through here, marking holes. And so that's got my holes marked on that side. And then I just go to this side, same principle. Just mark the holes. And yes, this is a laser cut jig. My original one that I had in the beginning, I actually made it with a piece of wood, a measuring tape, and a drill bit. The You can also, like through here, you can kind of, these are kind of cheats where you can peek and make sure that the corners are lined up. And you can also, you know, because you may have a little bit of variation. If you really want to get critical with it, you can, it works really well. So once I do that, then all I got to do is drill some holes right here. And the way we do that, hang on, we got my comp here. Brandy, he's retiring in less than a year. Start making the expanded honeydew list. Says they also, Brian's asking, is it weird you were standing there, but Dave is talking to himself and us? And then Fred says, hey, Brandy. So.
It's kind of like he's talking to himself always anyway.
Yeah, this mic. No. There you go. There you go, Mike.
Oh, I can't see those comments up there because my glasses only see down here.
I don't know. It may be this live working with flag is really awesome. Somebody thought so. A lot of folks, you know, may criticize and say, doing nothing, which I'm not really doing nothing. I'm actually working somewhat.
Sometimes.
But
Sometimes you're just hanging out like it's a man cave, but that's okay.
well, it is kind of a man cave. How's the noise feel coming on the grill?
Now that's confusing because I don't know if you're talking to them or me.
Yeah, talking to them. Uh-oh. Yeah, it started echoing because I turned her mic on. I'll just have to get her. Well, there's another mic over there that works with these. What you got going on inside? Yeah. Cool. Yep. And I know there's a sticker right there, guys. I just put them on the inside with a little glue, and only me and you guys are going to know it's there. And Randy's feet's in the way. So next step, glue. Check this out, guys. This is cool. Watch this. This is the brush that I used last week doing stove covers. Watch this right here. This is, if you don't have one of these, you need one. Look at that. Look at that. Like, there's the glue. And my brush is back working order again. Yeah. There you go. And we were talking about the earlier about the skill saw. Look at that. Look at that right there. Yep. So what I do here is I'm just going to raise that up a little bit, set it on the edge of the piece. Same thing over here. I'm going to raise that up just a little. Kind of prop that right there. I'm going to reach in here. I'm going to grab myself exactly 14 screws. Probably not, but I do get lucky a lot and only grab 14 screws, so which is pretty cool. Oh, I need my impact. DeWalt, if they would work with me, oh my God, I would test every new tool they have. See, like this guy, I need a new one. So if y'all know anybody from DeWalt, be more than glad. This one's old. I've had this. I bought this at the pawn shop used, and I have ran it until like it's been run for a minute. Matter of fact, I think it's got somebody else's initials on it somewhere. Seriously, I ain't lying. But here we go. So a little bit of Top Bond Ultimate Wood Glue. And yes, I use Top Bond 3 because in case you spill something on your stove cover, and let's just face it, I just like Top Bond 3 better. Yeah, if DeWalt ever said, hey, we want to like provide you with tools, I would let them. Because they would save me a bunch of money. Especially like this dust thing over here. Which Brandy doesn't usually like overly approve of some of my tool purchases because she's like, did you really need that? Don't you have like 4 of those? But with the DeWalt, the dust thing, she didn't argue a whole lot because I had got to the point to, yeah, best purchase ever, she said. Because I had got to where I was getting shop cough from breathing all the dust and stuff. And even like there were times that I would start like wheezing and I mean, just losing my breath at times. And I attribute a lot of that to breathing a lot of dust back for the past couple of years. But it's gotten better now. And Brady used to be the one to come in here and dust off the machines and vacuum and stuff. She hadn't done it in a few weeks now, but no, I've been doing it. So, but it makes it a little easier for her too. So now, and we'll see if somebody was talking and missed the center hole. Make a mess now. Make sure I ain't moved nothing. We're good. Got a little bit of glue squeeze out. Not bad. And I always start in the middle. Like I said, some of these boards can get a little dome in them if you don't watch them. So I always start in the middle to try to press them down just in case. If you start in the edges, if it does dome a little in the top, you'll wind up basically with a wrinkle. So I start in the middle, work my way out. That way it'll press it into this other sideboard. So let's go to the other side, guys. All right, well, we just making stove covers. Hey, you want to see how close I came? Let's see if I got 7 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 1 extra. See, I've gotten to where I can almost reach in that bucket and grab exactly the right number of screws. All right, Brandon says bye, guys. She's leaving. They said don't let the door hit you. Oh. Let me see if we got any comments over here. I've got a mask, Brian, but you know how that is. I mean, I know you guys know how the masks are. Masks are not a little aggravating to work in. I do got one that I used to wear when I was sanding, but it would get so much dust in the shop in general, it just like be hanging in here. Hang on. I'll be right back. See right here, Brian? This is the dust mask that I had. This is the one that I use, and it works pretty well. But it's just, it still wasn't getting it all. It would just be everywhere. Dust would be everywhere in the shop, and I could not keep from getting it like just stirred up constantly. So anyway, let me get this back, finish getting this glued together. All right, so what we saying over here? Let's say bye. See ya. What are the boards on the ends? Maybe, yeah, they're they call them, Lowe's calls them premium pine. It doesn't feel like pine, but that's what they sell them as. So if you go into Lowe's, they're going to be in the over near the hobby panels and the hardwoods and stuff. They call it premium pine. So yeah, I agree, Chris. The shop was it was getting on me, and like I said, and it's better now. I mean, it's still probably not ideal, but it is a lot better now. Does your 325 include PTO days? Oh no, that's calendar days. That is from now until it's gonna be October the 1st of 2025. So that is calendar days, and I'll be out of there. So show you my other great invention, because as you guys know, and as I've said 100 times, I don't have room for a lot of big equipment in here. So I bought this guy. And I bought this last year, ordered it on Amazon. And if anybody here happens to know a little company called Rockler, I love this thing. I love it. I bought some clamps from my CNC from them too, and they're doing a really good job. So never really had any Rockler stuff. Like I said, I was a DeWalt guy, but I needed a tool that DeWalt didn't really make one that I wanted. So I bought this guy, and it's kind of like a portable drill press, and it works great for these handles, because my biggest problem that I had with this build was that I would screw up and put an angle on the holes for the handles, and so then the handles wouldn't line up right, and you're sitting here trying to fix it without messing up a stove cover, trying to get that hole corrected. And man, I messed up so many and had to throw them away that if I'd have bought this earlier, I could have saved myself enough money and materials to have paid for this whole thing. So it's literally a portable drill press. Like it's awesome. The only problem I'm having right now is finding the perfect drill bit for this operation. I've got a little DeWalt bit in here now, and it does a good job, but sometimes it wants to gum up a little bit on me. But like, you even set the depth of the countersink and everything with this thing. It is awesome. So like, I know all these holes are going to be straight, and they're going to be countersunk exactly the right amount. So, and then when I get the holes drilled, I just lay it over here on this big work table that I've got until I need it again. Because yeah, some days, guys, that's all that CNC gets used for a work table a lot of days. I didn't really have anything going on it today. So, but yeah, that's the holes for the handles there. So now go over it with the sander again, round the corners, make sure everything's like it needs to be, and then we'll be off to finishing. My practicing for retirement. Well, kind of, I guess. I am looking forward to it. That's for sure. I am definitely looking forward to it. Yeah, Chris, I've got it's a wind air filtration system up there. It does okay. And I run it usually when I'm doing stove covers, but with y'all being live, I didn't want all the extra noise, even though apparently my noise filter is working good on my audio. When I build my new shop when I retire, my plan is to set it up a little different. I want to have, like right now, if I want to spray paint something, I have to go outside to do it because I can't really be spray paint in here because I have no ventilation or filtration or nothing like that. So I usually just go out on my porch and do that. And so I want to build me in like a little, like when I get the other shop built, I want to frame me out like a little room basically, and put me a like maybe some like plastic or something up. Just have me like a little paint booth, and have it to where basically I have an exhaust fan that pulls the paint out of there so that I could paint in there and not worry about it. So those are just little things that I'd like to add to my new shop when I get it, but I don't know if I'll ever get that. We'll see. Now, Brian, we've both been busy lately with the whole knee injury and things. She's been having to pick up some of my slack, and so we've both been really busy. We started that other channel and was going to try to do more on it. But as soon as I got that channel started, bam, I hurt my knee. Me and her both just running circles trying to keep caught up. I can't do half the stuff I used to do. And it just, it messed us up. But hopefully we'll get started back on it. If not, when I retire, I'll lean into it a little heavier. That sausage is still kicking my butt. But yeah, that stove cover is almost done. So that'll be number 3. And I'll have one more to go. Look at that. Perfect timing. So, yep, it's that easy, guys. You just throw another board in there and hit the start button again. So that's why I said that machine, this setup I got over here with the enclosure, can't beat it. All right. Well, I guess I'll wait on sanding that one. We'll just set them to the side for right now, and I'll just go ahead and put the next one together since we're live and talking. Oh, hang on. There you go. There you are. Well, y'all done quit commenting on me now. I can just work and I got to worry about reading comments, it looks like. Make things go a little faster. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, retirements, I think it's going to be fun. I think I'm going to enjoy it. But I'm not going to lie, when you've worked all of your life, I got my first job when I was 14, as far as like outside my dad's shop. I worked in my dad's shop since I could walk. But I got my first like outside the home job at like 14 years old. And here I am fixing to be 50. So it's definitely going to be an adaptation to not having to like go to work. That's going to be something I'm going to have to get used to. But on the same note, like I said, I have had a job since I was 14 and I am really ready to, you know, come up with something different. So hopefully it will be all that I hope it is. And like I said, I'm not, when I say retiring, guys, I'm not quitting work. I'm going to be out here every day working, doing stuff, either making content, making files, doing jobs, building stuff, whatever. I mean, I'm not just going to go lay down and go to sleep. The object is to go ahead and get that retirement check coming from the state, because little known fact, the way our pension works is if something happens to me and I were to reach my demise today, my wife would only get the money that I have paid into the system, which is not all that much. But once I retire, and I've already started drawing that check, if something happens to me, then my wife draws that check until she's no longer here. So there's advantages to getting out of it early. So, Steve, you done fell asleep? Newbie here. I'm working on my first mirror project. I've had to go back and watch the video. Your videos help so much. I appreciate that. Fred, I don't think I did put it on Etsy, to be honest with you. If you'll email me, if you're a viewer, Fred, and I know you are, if you'll email me, I'll send you that one. Because it's literally, it's a very specialized file. Just send me an email, Fred, if you want it. What's the top work area on the AdamStack X40? The X40, I'm gonna lie to you. Technically is 850 by 400 is the work area. Now, because of the way it's built, you've seen, me putting these stove covers in and out of there. Because of the way it's built, you can put larger material in it, because the ground clearance, people take for granted the ground clearance on these lasers. But if you've got a laser that touches the ground all the way around it, you can't slide stuff underneath it and everything. So the ground clearance and the way they constructed the AdamStack, the X40, is pretty awesome. And I had a conversation the other day with AdamStack about the A70. And I told them that they need to offer a A70 machine, like as far as the running gear, the autofocus and all the bells and whistles, the 70-watt laser. But instead of that 850 by 850 that they sell, I told them y'all need to make basically the 850 by 400 like the X40, because if they did that, I would get one of them. But the 850 by 850 for the A70 is just a little more than I need. But so I don't know where they're at on that, but I did suggest it the other day, and they're supposed to be talking to the engineers and seeing how much trouble it'll be. But it's not going to be a lot of trouble, because all they got to do is shorten one axis. It's already that way on the Max that they make. Yeah, this like I said, the stove cover things, I'm not a factory worker. I've never liked sitting and just knocking out the same thing over and over and over and over. It kind of annoys me. I'm not gonna lie. But when I first started doing woodworking in my shop, it was one of the things that helped me to buy, you know, like I've got 2 of these impacts now. I've got 2 drills. I've got a lot of those tools. I bought those with money from these stove covers. So it's hard for me to talk bad about the build because in fact, a lot of these tools were bought with money from these things. So I definitely try not to badmouth the project because it's a simple thing that I stumbled into, and it did help me to get my shop off the ground. If you go back and watch some of my early videos, this shop was nothing compared to what it is now. And a lot of that is from these things. So can't be bad mouthing them. And I can make them as redneck or as fancy as people want them. So you can go rustic or you can go elegant decor, however you want to go, as long as you're willing to pay for it. These typically we just go for the rustic look. That's just what they wanted. First one I sent up there from the look at, they sent it back and said it was too fancy. So we had to go back and redo some stuff. But now that I've been doing them as long as I have, it's pretty much this is what they get, and they love them. So that's another one put together. I still got to go over it, sand it again. I'll round these corners together, make sure there's no sharp edges, because believe it or not, wood can cut you, especially where I've cut it over here. So once we get off the live, I probably won't do that today. Let's see what time it is. No, I might. Heck, it's just 12:30. Jeez, got out here early today. But I'll sand these down, round the edges, round the corners. I don't like leaving little sharp corners on there and sharp edges that could cut you. I got most of the cutting edges off in that first little sanding volley, but I'll sand them again here in a little bit and just double check. I'll round these boards here over together and just kind of make everything look a little more finished. And then they'll be ready for stain and finishing. And then once that's, oh, wait a minute. Y'all almost let me forget, guys. Y'all almost let me forget. Forgot my handle holes. Get the big boy here out. But yeah, Rockler done good when they made this thing. It is awesome. I bought a cheap one off Amazon. I broke it in like a week. But this guy right here, you're not gonna break this. I mean, I've dropped it a couple of times. I thought I broke my drill, but you're not gonna break the thing. But it sets the countersink just right. I mean, it's nice. Like I said, the only problem I'm having is finding the perfect bit for it with this wood. But Steve claims he lives up there near Rockler. And I've told him to let him know I appreciate this product right here. And then these new clamps that I found for my CNC, love those guys too. If you hadn't seen them, I'll show you. Now I have to do some slight modifications to these to work with the Shipoko. They have like a little rubber tab that's usually right there. I had to take it off. And this little plastic piece, I had to flip this nut part right here around upside down. But these actually slide in the T-tracks on the Shipoko. And so when I put a piece of material in there, this slides, you get it where you want it, and then you can just push this and it adds tension to it. So these things are pretty awesome. So yeah. I bought 2 of them. I bought the first one just to see if it works and how well it worked. And then I got the second one in this week. And they work really well on the CNC. Strangely, those get returned. Well, here's the thing. I think maybe somebody had too high of expectations for them, Steve, because mine works great. Like you can spin that chuck on that thing and it'll just sit there and spin forever. And for what I got it for, which is to put those holes in there, it does good. Well, so far, I haven't messed up screw holes since I got that thing. Because used to, when I was drilling the hole, I would have it canted one way or the other. And if you do that, then of course the screws don't line up with the handle because they're coming in. You got the handle sitting there like that, and the screws coming in at an angle, and it winds up missing. But with this thing so far, I haven't had to throw away a stove cover because of those screw holes yet. Because it's a pain. Because sometimes you try to fix that screw hole, and before you know it, the thing's big enough you can put your finger through it. And it's like, okay, I've learned that. So what's the difference in fancy and rustic? Well, the first one I sent to them, I finished it, sanded it with 240, and then finished it, went over it with some more poly. I had that thing where you could see your reflection in it. Like, it was awesome. I had puttied all the little holes and used some wood. I mean, I went all out. Like, this thing was elegant. I took it up there and she's like, wow, this is a little fancy for what we were wanting. I'm like, okay. so I come back and I basically, if it's got a little divot in it, I don't worry about it. If it's got a knot that's cracked, got a little split in it, I don't care. The only thing that I try to avoid any major holes or not chip outs or anything on the front. But if it has that, I just make sure I put that on the back. That's why you noticed me looking at them. And then I try to round the edges with the sander and send it. And they love them because you can't buy these panels like I'm buying them 10 at a time for these panels like that and get 10 perfect ones that don't have flaws. You just can't. So it worked out really well that they wanted a little bit of imperfection in them. They wanted, I was trying to get just straight grain and no knots, and which that was impossible. The first 2 or 3 that I made here in the shop using materials that I come up with. And it just, like I said, it worked out good because they didn't want them. They wanted them to go with some of the trailers and stuff that they sell are, what do they call it? Like rustic, like wilderness decor type thing, where they actually have accents and rough cut beams for mantles and stuff like that. So they wanted it to look a little bit, and I think the stain that I was using was a lot darker also. But yeah, we've come a long way, and now I just churn them out. So let me set this one over to the side and we'll get that other one. And then this guy over here is steadily rocking its way to being done. So it won't be long, that one will be done. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this one off the table, get the last one screwed together, because then we'll be on that one. Then all I like is finish sanding, stain, finish, handles, sticky feet, and out the door. Fish drill bits. Man, you talking about for the drill? Do they have the countersink heads on them too? Because I like doing all that in one pass. I like to be able to drill the hole and countersink it, just that is handy. So let's get back to it. All right, let's see what y'all got going now. Yeah, rustic just means less refining. They don't want it. See, I didn't know either. I was just trying to make it. I was just trying to make it fancy. But like this, like if you look at the background of my shop with all the rough cut timbers and stuff up there, that's rustic. Well, if you go over to Steve's house where he's got all that sheetrock and everything and all that's fancy. So there's your another difference in rustic and fancy. So that's rustic right there. You see, that's just like you can literally like stick your finger between the wall boards over there. Of course, there is some black felt back there, but yeah, that's rustic. Steve's place is fancy. I can't believe I didn't get a comment out of Steve over that one. He must not be listening anymore. I know he's over there working probably. At least he needs to be if he ain't. I'm used to working with music on. I don't got my music on. That was one reason why I had my headphones on earlier. Where I could wear my music, listen to my music. Yeah. Hey, that's what a lot of times I'm gonna be honest with you. If you see that I'm in a live with somebody else, like another channel or whatever, most of the time I'm doing stuff like this and I've got my headset in listening. Because I have a problem sitting still. It's a bit of a disorder that I have. I don't like sitting still. That's one reason I don't do well when I'm hurt and I can't move around. Like my attitude, my mood, if I can't get out and do stuff, my mood goes, it gets terrible. So I'm hoping that I never get to where I just can't get out and do stuff, because I will be a pill to deal with. My wife's sitting there going, amen. She's like, I've been telling you that, and you didn't listen. Ooh, I put way too much glue on this one. I'm going to have some squeeze out on this guy. It's a little too much. Oh yeah. Yes, and that's what I've been telling folks with the X Tools. I love X Tools products. I do. I really do. My S1 is awesome. The P2 is a good machine. I like it. I don't quite like as much as I do the Hurricane because of light burn, but the only problem with X Tools machines are they build those features into the machines that are awesome. The features are really cool, but the problem is Lightburn can't keep up with the features, and so you lose those features using Lightburn. Now, that's not necessarily X Tools' fault, but for those of us that like Lightburn, it's kind of a downer because you don't get to use certain features if you're a Lightburn user. So, and like I said, it's not Lightburn X Tools' fault. They would like for you to use their software, but it's just they keep adding functionality to these machines, which is cool, but the software Lightburn just can't quite keep up with it. Look up at the TV and see I need to put my glasses on. Yeah, well, it happens. It happens. But yeah, it's like I said, I like the X Tool machines. Don't get me wrong. The S1, there's a reason why it's still in my shop. The Ultra, the F1, I mean, I like them. But they prefer, and I prefer them in their software, but X Tool prefers you use their software. And it makes a lot of difference in what you get out of the machine. All right, so it appears, guys, that our last one is done. So there we go. Done with that guy. Do, 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 do. Mercy. So, how many of y'all are going to make it for the laugh tonight? Because I can't wait to mess with Steve. He's been in here cracking at me in the comments. And like I said, I was going to try to make a video, but I really didn't have a clue what to do on today. I had a little touch of block, I guess, and I needed to get these done. So it's kind of like you need to do something, but a lot of times you just don't want to do it because it doesn't sound like your idea of fun. That's kind of where I was at this morning. I knew I needed to be doing these, but I really just, I guess it's because I do so many. It's just like, it's almost like where I got to where I can fall asleep doing them. Oh, see who says that. Love light burning. Yeah, Jace, the XCS, once you get in there, it's getting better. I still don't like it for designing, but for running the laser, it's fine. I still use Lightburn to design though. And then what type of wood are you using for those? These are actually, I think, spruce. I dropped a link earlier in the video of where I get them at Lowe's. The side panels, the sideboards are what they're calling premium pine. It doesn't look like any of the yellow pine we have here. But that works pretty good. Da, 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 da. All right, this will be the last one for this. I'm putting this tool up. I'm OCD about that, guys. I don't know why, but it's like when I get through with a tool, and I think it's because when I was growing up, like I said, I worked with my dad in the shop. He was a mechanic all my life, and like if you didn't put a tool up after you got through using it, life would be very unpleasant for a little while. So I guess it just got ingrained into me. And if any of my brothers or sisters see this video, they'll let you know it's true. My dad, you did not use his tool and not put it back exactly where it came from and in the state that it was when you took it. So if you got it dirty, you better clean it before you put it back. So I guess maybe that's why I'm like that, but I'm that way with my shoes, with clothes. I can't, like some people, you can go in the room and just throw their shoes on the floor or their jacket, or I can't. I got to put it where it goes. If if I'm sitting in the chair watching TV and I get up and I take my shoes off and sit them beside the recliner, if I get up and go to bed at night and leave those shoes sitting there beside that recliner, I can't go sleep. Like I have to get up and go get them and put them in the closet where they go. It's an affliction that I have. So one of many disorders that I suffer from. Now, I will say the whole I can't leave things laying out. My wife doesn't mind that one too much because I'm going to say, other than maybe during a surgery recover or something, she's never had to go into a room and pick up something that I just threw in the floor or left laid in the floor, even in our bedroom or bathroom or like that's not a real thing. That doesn't happen with me. Now, my kids, totally different story. They have no problems with it. I grabbed way too many screws that time. So this will be the last one screwing it together. And once I get the holes in it, we'll take a break and just shoot the breeze over here in the chat. And I'll finish these guys up after a while or tomorrow or whatever. Because at this point, it won't take me long to have them completely done. Once I get this part done. This is the most time-consuming parts are fixing to be done here in just a minute. And with it looking like it was going to rain a minute ago, according to my wife, I don't really want to have to set these outside and let them dry. So we'll hold off on finishing them for right now. I think I actually hear a little bit of rain dripping. We'll get this last inboard here screwed in place and get these handle holes put in this one. And I'll call it I'll call it a stopping point at that time. I'm sorry, y'all getting to look at my good side back there. I'll be on the other side here in a minute. I got all dressed up for the live today, as you can tell. I'm wearing my Flat Shack shirt with a pair of my old PT shorts that I've had for years and years and years. And my newfound favorite footwear, Crocs. But did you know you can't get Crocs in steel toes? At least I can't find them if you can. So, because I was going to get me a pair of steel toes, because I will tell you this, if you drop wood on your foot wearing Crocs, Crocs don't help with that. Like, it does not help at all. All right, so that is done there. Let's get that stuff out of the way. See, this guy right here, man, this thing's awesome. It just sits there and spins. And the cool thing is when I'm not using it, it's not like a drill press where it's taking up a bunch of room. It hangs on the wall right there, out of the way. Because I don't need a drill press. Not to make those little 4 holes in a stove cover. All right. So my little stove cover box here. Get everything put up, because that's another disorder. Like I said, everything's got to get put up and cleaned and all that good stuff. Can't help it. I'll have to vacuum here in a little while, because there is sawdust over here where I was drilling the holes and running the skill saw and everything. So I'll get the vacuum out after a while, clean up my mess. Oh, what we got going on? Oh, you mean? Oh yeah, around around my daddy's place, that was not an option. I have been corrected with many different pieces of my environment, whether it be an extension cord, an air hose, a fan belt off of a Volkswagen. I had that one time. Let's see. Of course, like every branch, privy hedge, crepe myrtle, every piece of wood you could think of that was handy, that could be chopped down with a pocket knife. I've been corrected with lots of different materials. I grew up in an era and in a house to where there wasn't no timeouts. Like now, my dad did. I will say this: as I got older, my dad did realize that I had an abnormally high pain tolerance, and so like he could he could wear me out, and it just really, a lot of times it wouldn't do the job depending on what it was that I was in trouble for. I would act the part, but then afterwards be like, whatever. So he did learn that sometimes the better way of punishing me was there was this stump in our driveway where we had cut a tree, and it was like nothing but just dirt all the way around the stump. And so there were times to where I had to spend like 3 hours sitting on that stump, and it didn't matter if it was winter, summer. It didn't matter if there was ants, mosquitoes. You stayed on that stump. Your feet did not hit the ground. And somebody who has activity disorder like I have that can't sit still, I would rather get you know, just like whooping on top of whooping. I would rather get my tail beat than have to sit on that stump. So, so he got me on that one. Once he broke out the stump, it was like, okay, game over. I'm done. Did you put the 4 holes in the last one? Did I? No, I did not. You got to point it out. Now I got to do it. All right. Now I got them done. Yeah, Chris, that's the biggest thing is you got to make sure you don't drop nothing on your foot when you're wearing Crocs. It does hurt, especially if it hits you in the arch. I think I'd rather have it hit me in the toes than the arch of my foot. Let's see. Yeah, y'all got me on that one. That's why when I'm talking, I'll forget because I have steps. Like I got step 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you talk to me during those steps, a lot of times I'll just skip and go to the next one. Bad about that. When engraving anodized aluminum, air assist or no air assist. I run air assist, but it really isn't. Only reason if I'm doing it with a well, I say I run air assist on the diodes, you know, like the ultra and stuff like that doesn't have them, but I run air assist on the diodes. But the reason being is you want it to blow the little bit of dust and stuff. You want it to blow it away from where you're engraving. Just like with wood, you get a better engrave, in my opinion, with air assist than you do without it, because without air assist, what ends up happening is when you engrave it, those little pieces of soot and stuff sit on top of the wood and protect it as you're doing even if you have overlap as you're doing your engrave. And so once the engrave is done and you hit it with some air or whatever, all the darkness of your engrave just goes away. Whereas if you use like air assist, it blows that soot out of the way and it lets it give that wood that charred effect, but the wood's still attached to the material. So, and that's the personal preference. Like I said, test it and see which way you like it best. But that's where I stand on it anyway. But y'all do know if you're not somebody that attends the Sunday Night Live, we will be answering a whole bunch of questions later tonight. I did Sunday, and yeah, I lose track of my days. Later tonight on the live, we will be answering a ton of questions, and we're going to be discussing, of course, last week's live, we gave away a Adam Stack V40 version 2 or A40 V2. That's what it is, Pro. Yeah. Which is a 40-watt laser. As far as the output, it's very similar to the one I've been using on the stove covers today. And we gave away $200 Amazon gift cards. Well, we're getting ready to start firing away for the Christmas live. So that's going to be our next big live. It's going to be the Christmas live. Now, we would like for all of our lives to be as big as the giveaway lives, but realistically, it's not going to happen. I think the other night we had 625 people, I think is the most that I saw on the counter, which is pretty impressive for somebody who, like with me, I've only been doing YouTube now for over 2 years, like seriously, like where I'm actually putting effort into it and trying to make decent videos as opposed to just throwing stuff out there. That was a milestone for me. And I think it was for Steve as well. But we plan on making the Christmas bash is going to be even bigger. We're going to do giveaways of our own stuff that we have that we just, like do a shop cleanup, so to speak. And it's things that maybe we got to test and we've used them and we want to make some room for new stuff or whatever. And we're gonna be throwing some of that in there, as well as I like the Amazon giveaways, because a lot of times, especially because not everybody is, let's face it, guys, not everybody is fortunate to have the tools and things that like Steve and I have. We've been blessed, and we have not only our shops that can produce income, but then the YouTube videos and stuff like that. So we do have privileges when it comes to equipment that a lot of guys don't. But what we plan to do and what we're trying to work towards is using our channel and the little bit of leverage and influence with these companies that we have to try to get you guys to basically have some of the same benefits by being able to get stuff and send it directly to you guys or participate with you guys. But I like the Amazon gift cards because, in my opinion, as a maker, there's something on Amazon that anybody in this room could go to Amazon right now with $100 or $50 or $25 and say, I want this, or I've been saving to get this, and I'm going to put this towards it. And I think that's very beneficial, because like we had 2 people that won the $100 the other day. Both of them said that they were going to use the $100 at Amazon to buy blanks and stuff to make things and sell. And that's pretty awesome. And so that's what we're hoping to do. So if you haven't been watching the Sunday Night Lives, jump in there with us, guys, and hang out, because you'll learn a lot of stuff, because we're answering questions for other people. And just because it's not a question that you have, next week it may be something that comes up at your shop and you're like, wait a minute, the other day they mentioned this. And so it's pretty handy. I learn a lot from you guys, because you guys have, even though I may have thought this was the best way to do something, and then, I hear a bunch of you guys, talking about it, and you're like, well, I do it this way. So I'm, let me try that and see how that works out. So we all learn from each other. I just happen to be the one that gets in front of the camera and makes a fool out of myself. So it's a community. It's fun. It's almost like some of these guys, heck, some of these guys, I see you guys and talk to you guys a lot more than I do people that I'm related to. So it's pretty cool. I enjoy it. And then when I go places, it's nice to bump into people that, know me from here. Now it's a little weird sometimes, because I'm like, I don't know this person, but then they mention the name or whatever. And it takes a little getting used to, but it's better. Dennis. Well, thank you, Dennis. Well, y'all let me know. I mean, is this a total harebrained idea? If if it's just going to be me and one person, maybe it's not worth my trouble sometimes. But I'm out here, like Brandy said, this is my shop, but it's also kind of my man cave. I'll come out here sometimes and I'll just watch videos. Like I'll put a movie on over there, and I'll be sitting over here playing with something, or I'll put Steve on that TV to where I can hear him. Or I've got another TV over here too that's old school TV. It's got an antenna hooked to it, so I can watch the weather. Even if because even if the internet and stuff goes out, that TV over there has an antenna that's on the side of my building that I can actually pick up like local news channels on. I think I got that TV at like a pawn shop for like $30. Like literally, it's a cheap little older TV. So I'll have stuff going, and I'll be in here working and hanging out, and it's pretty cool. And I do plan in 325 days, we're gonna have a retirement party. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know what the details are yet, but sometime around October the 1st of 2025, we will have a retirement party. I may go get a disco ball hang from the ceiling. Like I'll hang a disco ball right there for y'all. Or we may do I don't know. Do you think we could do? I don't know. I have to figure it out. But there's going to be a party of some type. It may not be nothing but just like us sitting around talking, but we're going to have a party. My issue next thing. Yes, that is true. Chris, the lens also stays cleaner when you have air moving around it. That's on any machine. Oh. Yeah, sometimes time will get away from you. Like today, it's only 1:17. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought it was later than this. I actually kind of need to go get me some lunch. But I just wanted to throw something up and check in with you guys. And this is the first time that you guys have seen me on camera without that leg brace in like 6 weeks. So I lost the brace. I don't have it anymore. I do have a really nasty scar on my leg, and I would show you, but I don't know if that's appropriate. but yeah, but it's working pretty well so far. I'm still every now and then I'll step and it's like that knee is not quite sure it's ready, but so far it hadn't dropped me on my head. So I guess we're making progress. But yeah. So if any of you are in that situation where you've got a brace and you're trying to get to it, just hang in there. I know it's tough. The past 6 weeks has been rough on me. Like I said, I love being able to move around and do stuff. And then it just causing my back to give me problems, which my back, I know y'all keep seeing me twisting it and kind of popping it or whatever, but it actually feels like maybe my back is trying to realign like it's supposed to be. Because it's not hurting as bad as it was. It just feels stiff. So I'm hoping that now that I'm not walking all wonky, that my back's slowly going to get back to where it needs to be. No, we went out like I said, we went out to supper last night. Matter of fact, I'll share this with you because I try to keep my personal stuff and my business stuff separate. So if any of you ever try to, send me a friend's invite on my personal page or whatever, understand that it's not that I'm like too good to be your friend on Facebook, but I try to keep it separate because I put a whole bunch of different stuff on there a lot of times. But I posted a picture last night, and this is let me show you guys. But we all went out last night. We went to Hobby Lobby and went to get something to eat. And we don't go out a lot. Like we eat at home most days. Like during the week when me and Brandy are at work or whatever, we'll get lunch somewhere. But for the most part, at night we're usually at home. We don't go out like a lot of folks do. But last night we decided, we had a vote, and the family decided they wanted to go to Hobby Lobby and look around and do some other stuff at some shops. But the biggest thing that they wanted was they wanted to go get something to eat. Like, and that's a big thing because we have a mixture of what people want. Like I've got one 23-year-old that's like watches every calorie. Like she's like, nope, gotta watch this calorie, watch that calorie. And then I got my 14-year-old who eats like I do. Like she will see exactly how much she can eat. And so it's a bit of a pickle when you're trying to pick a place to go. But we decided last night that we wanted to go to Outback. And we did. And so I was trying to take a picture. Me and Brandy were trying to get us a picture of us, of me and her and the kids together at Outback. This is what we got, guys. Just bear with me. But this is what we ended up with. So as you can see, my two fun-loving daughters decided to make weird, strange faces in the picture. So that's what we get around here. There's my thumbnail from earlier. Hang on. And then I tried to take another one without them knowing about it, and this is all I could get. Like this one's covering her face, and this one's just like, I don't know, looking at the picture that I just sent her, I guess. But no, I actually, now that I'm doing the shack, and you've got to understand from my perspective, since 1999, I've worked in law enforcement, and in law enforcement, you don't make a whole lot of money. So since 1999, on average, I've had about at least one full-time job and one part-time job, usually two part-time jobs and one full-time job. So like I used to work, night shift, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. At a police department, and Brandy worked day shift because she was a manager of a motel, and she worked like 8 a.m. to like 4 p.m. So literally we met in the hallway going and coming to work. And we did that for years. And then as I progressed through my career, I got to where I worked day shift, but I had to work other jobs to subsidize, to buy braces or buy tires for the car or pay insurance. Cause the insurance, car insurance, especially, that stuff hits you hard sometimes. And so I would work full-time, 40 hours a week at one police department. And then I would work nights and weekends at another police department. And then I would go out of town working security details for like Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Sandy, places like that. I would go out of town and work for 2 or 3 weeks, be gone, living out of my truck, living in a tent, whatever, a little camper, whatever the case may be. So for years, I wasn't here anyway. I was never even on the property. Like now, at least by being in the shop, I am on the property. They can walk out here and see me, or I can walk in there. So although it's different, it's better in my opinion. Because if the kid needs something tonight, like if one of my kids needed something tonight, I'm here. I can go do whatever. I can go with them. They can call me, whatever the case may be. It's not like I'm stuck somewhere, working a shift where I can't up and leave if I need to. So it's been a struggle. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you a fib. It has been since 1999. 25 years in law enforcement, getting paid, minimally paid. Like the sad thing about it is working out here in this shop. I can make, if I work my butt off, I can make more out here doing laser stuff and building stove covers than what I've been making in police work for the past 20 years easily. So it's not a glamorous life, the life of public service. So if you've never been there, it's military service and law enforcement are not two things that you're going to want to get into to make money. Now, if you want to be a first responder and make a lot of money, be a firefighter, because as a firefighter, you get to sleep half your shift. And so you could work for like fire department A all day and then sleep half your shift, and then go to fire department B and sleep all day. And so firefighters tend to live a better lifestyle than law enforcement because they get to sleep while they're on duty. And law enforcement, there's no sleeping. And if you get caught sleeping, you probably won't work there very long. So that's for all the firefighters out there too. So we joke a lot that we should have become a firefighter because their life's so much better. They get paid to sleep or play video games or watch TV or play on YouTube or whatever. And then they answer like 4 calls a day. But anyway, Hobby Lobby. Well, see, Dennis, I'm right the opposite. Like my wife doesn't need me to make her Hobby Lobby purchases. So like when we go in the door, we're like, okay, she's like, last night it was Emily's going over to the fabric because she wants to make this dress thing. And Abby's going with her. And then Brandy's like, I'm going to go look for some stuff for some Christmas decorations. And then I'm like, I'm headed to the wood and the laser made projects to look and see what they got over there. So yeah, it's not that bad. I actually enjoy Hobby Lobby. AGT said, yeah, you're right. You can sleep if you don't get a call. Oh, trust me, I know. Like I said, all my career, I've had friends that were firefighters and worked with firefighters and so forth, because they're, they do have to come out if we have something. And, I usually joke with them. They want to call themselves first responders. And I tell them, I'm like, you're not a first responder. You're a second responder, because how many times on the radio have I heard, has law enforcement secured the scene yet? And they're like, well, we'll be staging here until law enforcement secures the scene. So it's kind of hard to claim to be a first responder if you're waiting on somebody else to get there before you can roll up, So, but I guess to certain situations, they are the first responders. If it's a medical call or wreck or some kind of disaster. But I used to give them a hard time because you'd hear that a lot, especially on like domestics and you know, attempted assaults and stuff like that. 15 years as an EMT and 5 as a firefighter, still trying to catch up on sleep from all the calls. Yeah, I hear you. But yeah, it's different. But to answer your question, Dennis, no, she loves it, and she is 100% for me retiring and doing this full time. Because little known fact and another little peek behind the curtains is, for the past, I don't know, 15 or so years, I was involved in investigations. I worked internet crimes and computer forensics. So I spent a lot of my days at work digging through the laptops and computers and phones of people who took advantage of kids. And so doing that for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years pretty consistently, it messes with your head a little bit. And some of the other stuff that I've dealt with over the years, cumulatively, this mind has had to process so much garbage over the past 25 years that I'm ready to be done with it. Luckily, even though I went through some tight spots, and I've had to battle my share of problems and, you know, things that where the demons kind of show their head in your life or whatever. I've had to deal with those over the years, but all in all, I came through it with a pretty good understanding and a working ability to process and manage stress, which a lot of it is this. This is my thing. Like this is this is one of my things that I enjoy that helps me process stuff. Whether it's the week to week paying the bills, you know, got a kid in college, needs money for this, got braces to buy, and blah blah blah. Whether it's that kind of stuff, or whether it's the situation at work where, you know, you're having to deal with terrible people that you would rather see, like sitting across the table from somebody who has done some horrific things to kids. When you have the personality that I have, it takes a certain level of restraint, because when you're sitting there talking to that person, the thoughts that you have are not always the thoughts that would be beneficial to the situation, nor are they legal. Because I've always had a thing for kids. Don't mess with kids and old people. Don't mess with them. That's just, and I guess I'm kind of the old guy now, but that's always been my thing, is don't mess with little kids, and don't mess with old people, and don't mess with women. That's, you know, and you can call me whatever you want to call me, but that's just the way I am. That's the way I was raised, and that's the way I'll always be. I've taken up for many people in my lifetime. But yeah, sitting down and doing this stuff helps me to digest that stuff. And I think more guys should do this. I know, you know, some of you guys are firefighters, paramilitary, whatever, and you probably know, I mean, even firefighters, I mean, you don't think of firefighters as being in a situation to where PTSD is a real thing, but I can tell you, because I work alongside them and I see a lot of the same things they see. Traffic accidents can be some of the most horrific scenes that exist, especially in small communities, because you're not going to have a whole lot of like horrific, you know, crime scenes. But the traffic accidents can be a doozy. And firefighters, paramedics, rescue, EMT, whether volunteer or paid, that stuff will get to you. So it's one of those things that, like, y'all may saw the video where I did the other day where I went to Bonfire Ranch and hung out with them. I think that's a good project, and that's one of the things that I feel like maybe in years to come, maybe that's something that I could, you know, if I ever had enough money to be able to set something up for guys, like have a shop. I would love to have a maker space. And if you're a retired military or a veteran, or if you're a first responder, or if you're a ER doc, or whatever the situation is, if you have like issues, I would love to be able to be able to support a place like a maker space that you can just come. I mean, you get like half off come do what you want to do and work, because I do feel like a lot of folks, and the more people live in like apartments and housing areas that don't let you have a loud planer or allowed this or allowed that, there's going to become more and more of a need for that. Where I live, it's not that big of a need because it's mostly rural and you can run a planer or sawmill, whatever you want to. But I think in the cities, I think if people would lean more into, you know, using creativity as an outlet, I think it would do away with a lot of these people that like want to put folks in boxes, you know, oh, you're this kind of person and I can't talk to you, or this. I think woodworking would be a gateway to help with that, as well as like dealing with issues. And so, and whether it's lasers, 3D printing, just hobbies in general. It's really not woodworking, I guess. Hobbies. Everybody needs a hobby. So, oh yeah, yeah. Robbie said that understand a lot of what you're going through. I'm a home RN and see lots of patients in their homes and the laser. Yes, there is no further thing when you start, especially you start getting to know these people and you know what's coming, and you still have to, you know, that's another one of those jobs that's high stress. People don't realize it, but being a home health nurse, like everybody, like a lot of the people that you are going out and seeing every day, it's just a matter of time, and that can be stressful. I got some friends that do that too. So hey, I'm all about, instead of folks throwing pills at it, grab a saw, get some sawdust. I still think sawdust is good for most everything that ails you, as long as you're not breathing it. You just need to get it on you. So, and Robbie said he's in Birmingham, so I see a lot of the same thing. Yeah, y'all don't get me started on that, because this world, if I could snap my fingers and fix a bunch of stuff, I got a whole list of things that need to be fixed. But yeah, I think hobbies is a good way for folks to deal with stuff, and it's a good way too to start conversations between folks, you know, because just because me and you are different on one aspect, and maybe we don't agree, whether it be, you know, your view of, you know, this political view is different than my political view, but if we're sitting here at this table trying to make something, none of that matters. You know what I mean? And I think that's where a lot of folks tend to look for reasons to be different instead of looking for reasons to work together. And I think that's 90% of what we've had going on for the past few years, is you got too many people trying to put people in boxes and saying, oh, I can't socialize with this person or that person. But anyways, that's a whole nother conversation. That's a rabbit hole there. Jay says lasers, cameras, computers, CNCs, woodworkers, drones, etc. Oh yeah, trust me, I got them. I got sawmill, I got a drone, I do have camera stuff, I got woodworking, 3D printers, lasers, CNC, bees. Oh, and by the way, the bees, for those of you that keep up with the bees, I had my friends over at Cog Hill, they have a guy that helps them with treating their bees and stuff. It's some of the complicated stuff that us normal beekeepers just don't understand. But he come over and helped me treat my hives for varroa mites, which are little tiny mites. They're almost like ticks that get on bees. And I know what you're thinking. A tick that gets on a honeybee, that's got to be a little tiny animal, and it is. But he came over and helped me go through the hives, and we checked them and treated them for the varroa mites. And I've got one colony that didn't have a lot of honey put up, so I may wind up having to feed them a little bit through the winter. But everything looked good in the hives. I will be moving all of that over to my other channel, though, over to the Clay Cleese channel, because I'm trying to keep shop laser hobby stuff in here, and then outdoors, chickens, honeybees, all that other stuff, fishing, going to the river, all that is going to be on the other channel, the Clay Cleese. And I know it's a very unique name for a channel, but if you hadn't checked it out, check it out. I haven't done a lot with it. Like I said, some of y'all asked me about it earlier. The other channel, I started it thinking that I was going to be able to lean into it pretty heavy, and it didn't happen because I wound up hurting myself. And so it's been a little bit slow, but all in all, we're going to get there. We're going to make it. We're going to make it happen. So if you haven't checked it out, here it is. This is going to be more of the other stuff that's not necessarily work related or like shop related. This is going to be for all that other junk. And that may be where, because I'm not going to lie, guys, I have, I do feel a little called, and I use that word because, like I said, but I do feel a little called to try to help people deal with mental stress or pressures or whatever you want to call it. I do feel a little called to do that, and I don't know that it fits like to be doing like just dedicated videos here in the shop, although I do think it applies to a lot of people. But that's going to be the other channel. Is kind of going to be where all that's going to live as well. Like for me and Brandy sitting down and openly, hopefully, hopefully when everything's right and ready, openly discussing some of the problems that come along with dealing with these things and things that you can look for in your life, or like your spouse can look for in your life, and kind of point you in the right direction. Because improper stress management is what I'm going to call it. But improper stress management, it doesn't just affect the person that's dealing with it. It affects everybody around you. And I did not realize exactly how much it affected everybody until I had gotten over it, like gotten through it. And so that's one of the things that I would like to try to help folks be able to notice it and understand that it's not like a terminal illness. It's just something that you need to fix. It's something that you need to understand and tweak to get things going. So anyway, we'll get off of that for now. It's not something everybody wants to hear about. Yeah, Lance, I don't know. My cats seem to inherently increase my stress level some days. They're fun, but yeah, pets are good. My buddy Max, he was very instrumental in some of my developments over the past few years. So, but yeah, it's I got gnats in here flying around everywhere. But yeah, there's lots of different options. So when it's done, what do you wipe the back down with? What are we talking about? The engrave on a mirror. Oh, on a mirror. Just acetone, rubbing alcohol. Well, no use acetone. Rubbing alcohol, Windex, just any kind of glass cleaner. Don't use anything don't use acetone. I don't know why that came out of my mouth, because it can take the silver paint off the back of it. But typically I'll just use rubbing alcohol or Windex. Brent, I don't have it currently in the shop. I had a Falcon. I think it was a Falcon 2 or Falcon 1. I don't remember. But I had one, and I don't know exactly who's got it. I had to look at my inventory list, but it's on loan to somebody. What in the world? But yes, I've had a Creality Falcon. Not a bad machine. I haven't had one, a newer one, but yeah. Yeah, Chris, and that's one thing that I'm trying to make sure of is, like I said, stress, not only does it cause mental issues, but it can physically manifest itself into all kinds of other things. So yeah, I'm trying to manage it myself, get my health a little better. And now that I'm getting my knee back working and hopefully my back straightened out, maybe I can get to doing a little more exercising, which I stay pretty decent because I stay busy doing stuff. Well, we'll see you, AGT. Yeah, we'll be in here later on, so drop in. I'm not going to keep everybody too much longer. It's about time for me to go get something to eat. Y'all had me on here for how long? We've been on here? 3.5 hours. Look at that. Yeah. Doing a whole lot of nothing. But yeah, if you haven't, guys, if you hadn't subscribed, I think most of you have. Most of the names look familiar. But if you haven't subscribed to myself or, of course, my buddy Steve, y'all go hit up Steve's channel as well. The two of us, like I said, we do the Sunday Night Live show. We partner on all kinds of stuff. We kind of bounce ideas off of each other and help like come up with things that would benefit you guys. So if you follow my channel, then you definitely need to be following Steve's channel as well, because there's going to be times that we're going to have like a back and forth that you may miss half of it because it was on his channel. So I'm going to put a link for the ones of you that don't, just in case there's somebody that don't. Be sure to go over there and check out his channel and all that good stuff. He just dropped a video on doing a little Christmas tree. It was pretty cool, where he actually used lights, put lights in it and everything. So there's always some kind of idea or a little project or something that between the two of us that we're coming up with. So go check his stuff out. And if you're not watching the Sunday Night Lives, guys, it's a lot more fun when it's me in here, me and Steve in here smashing on each other and making fun of each other. So it'll definitely be worth watching. So yeah, Nate, working on a laptop. Yeah, you'll find yourself doing a lot with computers the more you get into this. But yeah, Lance apparently has seen the video, said it's a cool tree. But yeah, it's sometimes Lance, you have so many ideas that you get like overload and backed up and can't get them all done. But yeah, now Brent, I use Lightburn has a utility built into it that is the best file for testing speeds and feeds, in my opinion. I mean, because it's free, it's versatile, it doesn't take a whole lot of setup. You can and Steve and I both have speed and power test videos set up to show you how to use the tool in Lightburn. So I mean, there are some things that one doesn't test real well, but especially just starting out, those are things that you're probably not going to be concerned with. But yeah, check out the videos. I know I've got one on perfect settings every time or something like that. I know Steve's got one as well. So yeah. And I was gonna do a video on doing like gold or the red and green Christmas balls that everybody's been doing, but I see that my friend Sam over at Sam Craft just dropped a video, which mine were gonna be full wraps, and I may still drop it. But yeah, those are really popular this year. Everybody's doing a video on them. Every time I think that it's a good idea to do it, it's like there's somebody else doing a video. There's somebody else doing a video. But yeah, also if you're Mark reminded me as well, the shortcuts or the links should be in the description of this video. We also have the Sunday Night Live. We have the community that goes with it, kind of. And there should be links in the description. I'm kind of looking, making sure before I tell you. Yes. There's a links in the description to Steve's shop, my Amazon, Etsy, Facebook, all that's in there. And there's also links to the Laser Engraver community page, which is where most of the folks that come to the Sunday Night Live kind of join that community. If you're on Facebook, and it's a cool place to ask questions, show off some of your work and stuff like that. Now we do not. We try to keep it from being a salesy, it's not a billboard for stuff that you're trying to sell. I try to keep mine to a very minimum, as well as Steve. And so if we're not putting our stuff on there, of course, we're not going to want you putting a whole bunch of salesy stuff on there if you're that way. We let people use it that way to an extent, but there is a limit. So if you start getting to where your only contributions are buy this from me, then don't be mad when we throttle you back. But it's pretty cool. But anyway, I'm gonna go get me a sandwich or something for lunch. Maybe my wife cooked me this elegant lunch today that I can go eat. I don't think so. It's probably gonna be old PB&J or bologna and cheese or something. But anyway. So anyway, I'm gonna go get something to eat. Come back, finish these. I'll be hanging around the shop, guys. And like I said, 7:00 p.m. tonight. Don't miss it. Me and Steve will be in here. Hopefully, a lot of more people bringing some information and asking questions, and we'll be here. So, but yeah, glad to be done with the brace. I don't want to try to look at that. Yep, no brace, guys, no brace. It's not a very pretty leg though. But yeah, this is my first weekend not having the brace, so just thought I'd come in here, share it with y'all guys, and do some work. But till next time, y'all be careful and have a good day. Set your clocks 7 p.m. Go ahead, hit that link and say that you're coming on the live. Yeah, just let us know. You'll be there. See y'all tonight, guys.